Defense cells are pretty bad. Well, most of them. I think that the overwhelming majority of defense cells don't really have a place in Dauntless. For those of you who don't know, I'm XANNYPHANTOM and I'm a Dauntless partner, and today I'll be explaining why defense cells are the dummy thick suck. Seeing as how well you guys received my last critique video, I figured I'd just do another one. If you want something to listen to while you're playing games, studying, or just multitasking in general, this is the video for you. So let's get to it. Dauntless has a pretty heavy focus on fast-paced, aggressive combat, and that can be seen in the heavy abundance of cells that increase your damage or an aspect of your damage output. The game caters more to the idea of stacking endless amounts of damage on top of each other, rather than bolstering your innate defenses. After all, a behemoth can't hurt you if it's already dead. Because of this design philosophy, I feel like there's very little incentive to slot defensive cells into your gear, as their effects typically tend to be pretty underwhelming by comparison. For example, the fireproof cell provides increasing immunity to certain fire effects for every rank of the cell. This is great and all, until you realize that Molten does the exact same thing, while also providing you increased attack speed and movement speed. It really calls into question the point of having cells like these if other cells will eventually power creep them. One of the few exceptions to this rule is Iceborne, and that's just because of the raw survivability the cell provides. But even then, Iceborne falls prey to the weakness that every other defense cell suffers from, and that's dodging. Once you've mastered dodging and dodge timings, you've pretty much nullified the need to run defensive cells. Why would you need to run something like Warmth if you're never going to be hit, or if you're going to be hit so infrequently that it essentially becomes a dead perk? Moreover, you're wasting a ton of perk economy in order to slot in cells that aren't as high impact as other cells available in the game. When all these issues are brought together, they create a kind of dissonance that alienates defensive cells from being viable choices for most effective builds, to the point where they're frequently memed on for their perceived uselessness. So the question is there a fix for all of this? And if so, what's it gonna take? In my opinion, I think the majority of defense cells should be baked into armor pieces as unique effects. Kind of like how weapons have their own unique effects on top of having perks. For example, wearing a full set of Embermane gear should make you immune to fire-based debuffs, or wearing Quillshot armor should give you resistance to shell shock. This removes a lot of the clutter from the cell pool, while also potentially diversifying our armor arsenal. This also means that those perks can be replaced on gear that already have them, leaving room for potentially more interesting build options in the long run. I'd like to see what you guys think though. I always enjoy reading the feedback I get on Twitter and in the comments section. I think defense cells are kind of unnecessary and clunky in the current iteration of Dauntless, and need a lot of work done to make them less terrible. And that'll wrap up my thoughts. If you enjoyed listening to me ramble on, feel free to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter to keep up with my shenanigans. I'd also recommend checking out my boys at Team Thick, as I've left links to their channels down in the description below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care, and have a good one.